Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is great to have you with us again.
Great to be here.
Now, usually when we sit down at these microphones, the table in front of us is just, it's groaning under the weight of some pretty heavy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking dense meta-analyses on metabolic health, complex geopolitical histories, or, maybe some technical white papers on artificial intelligence. We usually spend our time wading through footnotes and p-values.
That's our bread and butter. We live in the land of data and citations, for sure.
Exactly. But today's a little bit different. I'm looking at the stack you brought in, and honestly, it reads less like a medical journal and more like the screenplay for a really charming indie movie.
Chuckles. It does have that feel.
We have characters, we have dialogue, we have plot twists involving herbal tea. This is not our usual material.
It really does have that narrative feel. But I want to stop you right there for a second. Just because the source material is narrative, essentially a qualitative observation of three specific people, doesn't mean it lacks rigor. In the fields of sociology and psychology, what we're looking at today is a longitudinal case study of what we might call positive deviance.
Positive deviance, I like that term. Break that down for us. What does that actually mean?
Well, it's a concept that's used in development and sociology, and it refers to individuals who, with the exact same resources and constraints as everyone else in their community, somehow manage to achieve much better results.
So they're the outliers on the good side of the curve.
Exactly. So in this context, we're looking at three seniors, Mrs. Baker, Mr. Johnson, and the group's ringleader, I guess you could call him, Grandpa Thomas. They are navigating the same aging process as everyone else. They have the same aches, the same potential for fatigue, the same societal pressures.
Right, the same gravity.
The same gravity. But they aren't declining, they are thriving.
So instead of looking at a study of, say, 10,000 people, that gives us a broad average, we're zooming way in. We're looking at just 3 people who have seemingly cracked the code.
Precisely. Sometimes looking at the N of 3, a very small sample size, allows you to see the nuance that just gets lost in the big data. You get to see the specific behaviors, the tiny micro habits, and importantly, the mindset shifts that create that success.
Okay.
So our mission today is to track them through a single day in the life, to decode the biological and psychological algorithms that they're running.
And we aren't just going to say, oh, look, that's cute. We're going to reverse engineer the science behind why it works.
Exactly. We're going to look at the neurochemistry of their laughter, the biomechanics of their walking pace, the metabolic impact of their lunch.
And the cognitive science behind their hobbies. We're going to answer the question that actually gets asked in the story. What is the secret to happiness?
That's the goal.
And I'll tease this right now. The secrets involve some very, very unexpected things. We have confused octopus paintings.
Which is actually a profound lesson in neuroplasticity, as we'll see.
We have synchronized turtle napping.
A master class in energy management.
And we have some accidental herbal tea foot baths.
It's a wild ride, it really is.
So let's set the stage. It is morning. The sun is up. The trio is meeting up for their daily routine. We have Mrs. Baker, who seems to be the nutritional anchor or maybe the mother hen of the group.
Yes, the caregiver.
We have Mr. Johnson, who we will soon learn is the stoic comedian.
Yep.
And Grandpa Thomas, who is, well, he's clearly the competitive spirit.
Oh, without a doubt. And look at how the day begins. It's important. It doesn't begin with them scrolling through their phones or watching the news. It begins with connection and preparation.
Right. And Mrs. Baker has brought along a thermos. And the notes are very specific here. She's brought herbal tea intended for digestion.
Okay, and this is our first clue, right off the bat. This is what we call functional consumption. She isn't just grabbing a coffee for a caffeine hit. She isn't grabbing a sugary juice for a sugar rush.
Right, it's not arbitrary. Not at all. She has selected a beverage with a specific physiological purpose. It tells us right away that these individuals are proactive about their biology. They aren't waiting to get sick. They're engaging in preventative maintenance.
She is prepared. Or, well, she's mostly prepared. Because the source tells us she forgot one crucial component.
The lid.
The lid.
A critical failure of containment.
To say the least. So, the inevitable happens. Physics takes over, she trips or turns, the cup jerks, and scalding hot tea splashes directly onto Mr. Johnson's shoes.
Oh.
Now, I want to hit the pause button on the story right here, because this moment This healthy accident, as the source called it, is the first major data point in our study of resilience.
It's a perfect stress test,
Yep.
a real-world, unexpected stress test.
So let's just, walk through this. Picture this happening to you. You're dressed, you're
Yep.
ready for your walk, you're maybe wearing your nice shoes, your comfortable shoes, and suddenly you have boiling chamomile soaking into your socks.
Not pleasant. It burns, it's wet, it's messy. What is the typical reaction? What's the default human response here?
The physiological default is the stress response. Full stop. We call it the amygdala hijack.
The amygdala hijack.
Right. Your amygdala is the threat detection center of the brain. It perceives the pain and the sudden surprise as an attack.
Now
It doesn't know it's just tea, it just knows danger.
so it's a very primitive response.
Incredibly primitive.
Yeah.
And it signals the hypothalamus, which then triggers the pituitary and adrenal glands. This is the HPA axis activation.
HPA, so that stands for.
Hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. It's the central stress response system.
Okay, so instantly you're just flooded with cortisol and adrenaline.
Exactly. Your heart rate spikes.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure jumps.
Yep.
Your pupils might dilate. You enter a state of sympathetic arousal. You are physiologically ready to fight the tea or flee from the tea.
Jekyll's, fight the tea.
And usually, that energy gets directed at the person who caused it. You snap, you yell, watch what you're doing, my shoes are ruined. Now I have to go home and change.
Which effectively ruins the morning for everyone. It completely kills the vibe. But let's look at Mr. Johnson. The source is very specific about his reaction. He doesn't yell, he doesn't panic, he looks down at his soaking wet shoes, he pauses for a beat, and he says, quite calmly, well, at least my feet will enjoy excellent liver support today.
This is where it gets really, really fascinating. To the casual observer, that's just a dad joke.
It's a total dad joke.
It's a quip. It's a throwaway line.
Yeah.
But from a psychological standpoint, he is doing some incredibly heavy lifting in that moment. He's engaging in a process called cognitive reappraisal.
Cognitive reappraisal. Okay, let's unpack that.
It's an emotion regulation strategy. It involves changing the trajectory of an emotional response by reinterpreting the meaning of the stimulating event.
So the event is hot tea on my shoes.
Right. The event is wet shoes. The default interpretation is this is bad, this is annoying, this is a loss, this is someone's fault. Mr. Johnson interrupts that neural pathway. He consciously chooses to reinterpret the event as absurd or funny.
He took the intended health benefit of the tea liver support and applied it to his feet, which implies the feet have livers. Which is, it's completely ridiculous.
And that absurdity is the mechanism. It's the key. When he laughs, and when he makes Mrs. Baker and Grandpa Thomas laugh, he is physiologically short-circuiting that HPA axis we just talked about.
So instead of that cortisol spike, what is he getting instead? What's the chemical trade?
He gets a hit of dopamine. He gets endorphins. Laughter is known to induce a state of relaxation. It actually expands the endothelium, that's the lining of the blood vessels, which improves blood flow. So within seconds of a stressor that would have raised his blood pressure, he has actually actively lowered it.
That is incredible. He literally turned a heart attack moment into a heart health moment.
Yeah.
Just with his mind.
It's a form of emotional alchemy. He transformed a negative input into a positive biological output. And think about the social dynamic too. We have to consider what's called emotional contagion
Right, because his mood affects the whole group.
immediately. If he gets angry, Mrs. Baker feels guilty and defensive. Grandpa Thomas feels awkward. The group dynamic fractures. The walk might even be canceled, or they just walk in tense silence, stewing in their own stress hormones.
So the allostatic load, that's the wear and tear of stress, right? That would increase for everyone in the group.
Exactly. By making that joke, Mr. Johnson signaled safety. He told the tribe, this is not a threat. We are safe. We are still friends. He prioritized the relationship over the shoes.
Wow.
And that is a hallmark of high social intelligence and a key predictor of longevity. The Blue Zone's research shows us time and time again that strong social ties are perhaps the most potent medicine we have.
So the big takeaway here isn't just be funny. It's that the first pillar of their health isn't a vitamin or an exercise. It's an emotional reaction. It's resilience wrapped up in a joke.
It sets the physiological tone for the entire day. If you start your day able to laugh at a minor burn, you're pretty well armored against whatever else the world throws at you.
Okay, so feet are wet, but spirits are high. The trio sets off on their morning activity. They're on a walk. The source mentions a duration of about 20 to 30 minutes.
Which, by the way, is the gold standard for maintenance cardio in this demographic. You don't need to run marathons to get the benefits. 20 to 30 minutes of continuous movement puts you in what we call Zone 1 or low Zone 2 cardio.
And what's so special about that zone?
It's excellent for mitochondrial efficiency, It trains your body to become better at burning fat for fuel. It improves cardiovascular health without creating a huge stress load, and it's sustainable. You can do it every single day.
So they're cruising along, doing their thing, getting their steps in. But then we get the conflict, the contrast. A group of energetic college students comes jogging past them.
The classic tortoise and the hare setup, right out of the fable.
You can just picture it. The students are young, they're fit, probably wearing high-tech compression gear, smartwatches beeping, breathing hard, sprinting past the old folks. And Grandpa Thomas, who I am starting to realize is the one with the ego in the group, he leans over and whispers to the others, "Let's show them these old bones still have power."
Now, when I read that line, I got a little nervous for him.
Really? Why is that?
Because that is the danger zone. In sports medicine, we see this all the time. It's the weekend warrior effect. An older individual sees a younger person performing at a high level, their competitive instinct kicks in, and they try to match that intensity. They try to sprint.
And what happens when they do that?
Disaster, often.
Right.
They try to match the anaerobic intensity of the students. They might pull a hamstring, blow an Achilles tendon, or spike their heart rates into a dangerous arrhythmia zone. Their cardiovascular system might be willing, but their connective tissue, their tendons, their ligaments, they might not be ready for that sudden explosive load.
But Grandpa Thomas, despite the tough talk, is smarter than that.
He is. This is where wisdom comes in. It's the perfect intersection of ego and intelligence.
Because the source says they do not run. They maintain a steady pace. They just keep trucking. And sure enough, where does everyone end up? All at the same time.
The great equalizer, the traffic light.
Boom! They catch up to the joggers at the light. And the description is perfect. The students are panting, hands on their knees, catching their breath. The seniors are just breathing easy.
Cool as a cucumber.
And Mrs. Baker, having fully recovered from the tea incident, delivers the punchline. She smiles politely at the students and says, "We arrived without running."
There is so much packed into that one sentence. We arrived without running. It's a whole philosophy of efficiency.
It really is. It's not about the peak speed, it's about the average speed.
Exactly. And from a physiological standpoint, this validates the concept of steady-state exercise. The source notes that daily movement reduces joint pain and boosts endurance. By not rushing, they protect their joints. Synovial fluid, that's the oil in your joints, needs movement to circulate, but it doesn't need high-impact pounding.
So they're basically lubricating the chassis without damaging the suspension.
Perfect analogy. And the students, they're working hard, sure, but they're relying on glycogen on sugar for fuel. They're building up lactate. It's a good workout for them, a HIIT workout, but it's high cost, high recovery. The seniors are likely in a fat-burning state. They're efficient. They prove that consistency often matches or even beats erratic intensity.
And let's not overlook the psychological victory here. We call it social proof, right? But you mentioned another term for it.
Self-efficacy.
Explain that. What's the difference?
Well, they're related. Self-efficacy is the belief in your own capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific performance attainments. It's your internal confidence.
I can do this.
I can do this. As people age, society bombards them with messages that they are weak, slow, fragile, or obsolete. This leads to a decline in self-efficacy. They start to believe it. Why bother going for a walk? I'm just an old man.
And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think you can't, you won't even try.
Exactly. But here, Grandpa Thomas challenged that narrative. He said, "These old bones still have power." And then they went out and proved it. They caught the hare. That feeling of competence, of I can still hang, I am still relevant, is incredibly protective against depression and anxiety.
So it's a huge mental boost.
It's massive. Feeling invisible is toxic. Grandpa Thomas made sure they weren't invisible that day.
He sure did. I think these old bones still have power needs to be printed on t-shirts. I'd buy one.
It's a great slogan for successful aging.
So they've walked, they've laughed, they've humbled the youth of today. Now the biological machine needs fuel. They head to a small cafe for lunch, and this is where the deep dive takes a turn into, well, nutritional biochemistry.
This section fascinated me because of the role reversal that happens. Usually in the media and in life, we think of the younger generation teaching the older generation about the new health trend.
Oh, for sure. Grandma, you have to try quinoa. Grandpa, have you heard of intermittent fasting? That whole thing.
Right, but here, the waiter asked them why they eat so healthily.
Which implies they ordered something very specific. I'm guessing no cheeseburgers and fries.
Probably steamed vegetables, lean proteins like fish, no heavy cream sauces, no fries. Their plates likely looked very different from the standard cafe fare.
And suddenly the trio transforms. They go from being just, some seniors out for a walk to, as the source puts it, nutrition professors.
So they step into the role.
And they don't give vague answers like, oh, it just keeps me regular, or it's good for you. They give specific mechanistic claims, and I want to vet these claims with you. Let's fact check the professors.
Let's do it.
Okay, claim number 1. They tell the waiter, omega-3 is great for your brain and heart. True or false?
Absolutely true. Solid science. They're referring to omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These are what we call essential fats, meaning the body cannot produce them efficiently. You have to get them from your diet.
And why are they so critical for the brain and heart specifically? Why those two organs?
Well, let's start with the brain. Think of your cells as little houses. The cell membrane is the wall of the house. You want that wall to be flexible, to let good things in and bad things out.
Makes sense.
DHA is a primary structural component of the neuronal membrane. It keeps that membrane fluid and responsive. If you don't have enough, the membranes get rigid, they get stiff, signals can't pass through as easily.
So omega-3s are literally lubrication for your thoughts.
In a biological sense, yes. That's a great way to put it. Low levels of DHA are consistently linked in the literature to cognitive decline, memory problems, and even a higher risk of Alzheimer's. So that's the brain part.
And the heart.
For the heart, omega-3s are potent anti-inflammatories. They lower triglycerides, which is a type of fat in your blood. They reduce the risk of arrhythmias or irregular heartbeats. And they help prevent plaque buildup in the arteries. So when they say brain and heart, they're targeting the two organs most at risk during the aging process. It's very precise advice.
Okay, so they're 1 for 1. Claim number 2. The salt issue. Their rule is simple. Less salt equals better blood pressure. Now, I know salt is a bit of a nuanced topic these days, but for this demographic.
For the general aging population, this is absolutely foundational advice. The mechanism is simple plumbing. Sodium attracts water. If you have excess sodium in your bloodstream, your body pulls water from your cells into the blood vessels to try and dilute it.
Like overfilling a water balloon, the pressure has to go up.
Exactly. That extra fluid volume increases the pressure against the arterial walls. That is what high blood pressure or hypertension is. And over time, we're talking decades, that constant high pressure creates micro tears in the arteries.
And the body tries to patch those tears.
Right, it patches them with plaque, with cholesterol, and that patching process leads to stiffening, to atherosclerosis, and eventually heart attacks or strokes. So by cutting salt, they are mechanically lowering the physical stress on their entire circulatory system.
It's just physics, really. And finally, claim number 3. They drop the hammer on fried food. They say, avoid fried food to live longer. This seems obvious, but what's the deep science here?
This is likely about two main things. Trans fats, which we all know are bad, but more interestingly, something called AGEs.
AGEs?
Yes. It's an acronym for Advanced Glycation End Products.
That sounds ominous.
It is. AGEs are harmful compounds that form when protein or fat combine with sugar in the bloodstream, a process called glycation. Or they can form when foods are cooked at very high temperatures, like, frying or grilling.
So that crispy, brown, delicious coating on fried chicken.
That is often loaded with AGEs. And in the body, they do exactly what their acronym suggests. They age you, they trigger systemic inflammation, they cause oxidative stress, which is like internal rusting. They literally gum up the cellular machinery, and they cross-link collagen, making your tissues, your skin, your arteries, your joints stiffer and less functional.
So when they say avoid fried food to live longer, they're basically saying don't voluntarily rust your body from the inside out.
That's a perfect summary. Chronic inflammation is the driver of almost all age-related diseases. Heart disease, diabetes, dementia, arthritis. By avoiding fried foods, they're keeping their internal fire alarm from ringing constantly.
So we have this mini seminar happening right there at the cafe table. But the best part for me is their reaction. The waiter, he's listening to all this, and what does he do?
He instantly switches his order. He swaps his fries for a salad.
That is immediate impact. That's real-world change.
It's beautiful. And it demonstrates a concept called generativity.
What is that?
It's a term coined by the psychologist Erik Erikson. It refers to the stage of mid to late life where your primary developmental task is to guide the next generation, to pass on what you know. If you don't achieve this, you fall into what he called stagnation.
So by teaching the waiter, they're actually fulfilling a deep psychological need for themselves.
Exactly. They aren't just eating lunch, they're mentoring. They're being useful, they're contributing. And the waiter's reaction validates them. It tells them, your wisdom is valuable, your life experience matters. That is a huge dopamine hit for them and obviously a massive health benefit for the waiter.
It's a beautiful feedback loop. They feel useful, he gets healthier.
And let's be honest, hearing nutritional advice from someone who is 80 years old, laughing and vibrant, is way more convincing than reading some abstract blog post online.
It's proof of concept. They are the living evidence that their advice works.
They are the walking, talking advertisement for their lifestyle.
Okay, so they have eaten. They are full of omega-3s and low-sodium veggies, but biology is biology. The post-lunch slump hits.
The postprandial dip, the circadian dip, it comes for us all. It's a natural part of the human rhythm.
They've walked, they've lectured, now they're tired. In our world, the corporate world or just the busy modern world, what do we do when we feel that slump?
We fight it. We view it as a weakness or an inconvenience. We grab a double espresso. We eat sugar for a quick rush. We splash cold water on our faces. We try to override the biological signal.
But Mrs. Baker and the crew, they listen. They honor the signal, which leads us to section 4, the art of rest.
This is a crucial section, and probably the one most of us are the worst at.
The scene is visually hilarious. They find a bench after lunch. They just shut down. The source describes them falling asleep like synchronized turtles.
I love that image. It's so vivid.
I just picture 3 heads sort of retracting into their coats, but there's a social interaction here that's really telling. A little girl walks by with her mom, sees these 3 seniors passed out on a park bench, and she's concerned. She asks her mom, "Mom, are they okay?"
And that question speaks volumes about our culture, doesn't it?
How so?
We are so accustomed to constant movement and productivity that public stillness looks like a medical emergency. Are they okay, implies. Are they broken or are they dead? The child can't even conceive that they might just be resting.
And the mom's explanation is brilliant. She says, they're fine just charging their batteries.
That metaphor, charging their batteries, is perfect. It frames energy as a finite resource that needs to be actively managed and replenished, not a bottomless pit you can just draw from forever.
So the source links these short naps to improving memory and reducing fatigue. Is there real science to back up the park bench power nap?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The science on the power nap is robust. When you're awake, a chemical called adenosine steadily builds up in your brain. It's a byproduct of neuronal activity. As adenosine levels rise, it creates what we call sleep pressure, that feeling of heaviness and grogginess.
So your brain is literally filling up with sleepy dust.
It's a great way to think about it, yes. When you sleep, your brain's glymphatic system clears that adenosine. A short nap, we're talking 10 to 20 minutes, is enough to clear a significant chunk of it without letting you fall into deep, slow-wave sleep.
And if you sleep too long, that's when you wake up feeling worse.
That's when you get sleep inertia, that groggy, confused feeling. But a short nap resets the sodium-potassium pumps in your neurons. It improves alertness, reaction time, mood, and memory consolidation.
So they aren't being lazy. They're performing a biological reset. They are optimizing their afternoon.
They're optimizing. And there's another layer here that's just as important, the lack of shame.
That's the big one for me. They are sleeping in public, on a bench, mouths probably open, snoring maybe, looking like synchronized turtles.
And they do not care, not one bit.
If that were me, I'd be terrified someone would take a picture and post it online. I'd be way too self-conscious.
And that self-consciousness is a stressor. It keeps your cortisol levels bubbling. These seniors have achieved a level of freedom where they prioritize their biological needs over social expectations. The thought process is simple. I am tired. I will rest. Full stop.
It's so confident. It's saying, my body needs this, and I'm taking it right here, right now, and I don't care what you think.
And because they surrender to the rest, they wake up refreshed. If they had fought it with coffee and sugar, they would be dragging through the afternoon, irritable and tired. Because they rested, they are ready for the next adventure.
Which leads us to the afternoon activity. And if you thought the walking race was competitive, wait until you hear about the art class.
Or, as we should probably call it, the cognitive fitness session.
Right, because the source makes it very clear. They decided to paint specifically for cognitive exercise. They aren't trying to get into a gallery. They're not trying to become the next Picasso. They're trying to work out their brains.
This distinction is absolutely vital. They are engaging in neurobics. Aerobics for the neurons. The goal is the process, not the product.
Let's talk about the product. Let's talk about the results. Because the source is not kind to their artistic abilities.
They were, let's say, unique. abstract, perhaps.
Let's go through the gallery of disasters. Mr. Johnson attempts to paint a tree. The result. It looked like a confused octopus.
I am still trying to visualize how you get from a trunk and leaves to tentacles and a look of confusion, but I admire the creativity.
Mrs. Baker tries to paint a simple lemon. The result. A melting sun.
Very Salvador Dali of her. I like it.
And Grandpa Thomas, our competitive walker, he paints a bird. And the source says it was so bad it scared actual birds away.
That's my favorite detail in the whole story.
Now, most people, especially adults, have a lot of ego wrapped up in competence. If I tried to paint a tree and it looked like an octopus, I would be frustrated. I would say, I'm just not an artist, and I would probably quit and never paint again.
That is the fixed mindset trap. The belief that skills are innate, and if you aren't good immediately, you shouldn't do it. This group embodies the growth mindset. They see challenge as an opportunity.
But does making bad art actually help your brain? Wouldn't it be better to do something they are already good at, like knitting or crossword puzzles?
Surprisingly, no. That's a common misconception. If Mr. Johnson was a master painter, painting another tree would be easy. His brain would be coasting on efficiency. It would be using established, well-myelinated neural pathways.
Like driving a car on a familiar road, you don't even have to think about it.
Exactly. But because he is bad at it, because he is struggling, his brain is working incredibly hard. He's trying to coordinate fine motor skills in his hands that he doesn't use often. He's trying to visualize spatial relationships between branches. He's mixing colors. That struggle, that cognitive friction, is what triggers neuroplasticity.
So the confusion of the octopus is a reflection of the confusion in his brain, and that's the point.
Yes, the confused octopus is evidence that his brain is working hard to figure it out. He is forging new connections. He's building what we call cognitive reserve. This is the brain's buffer against aging and dementia. The more novel, complex, difficult things you try, the more reserve you build.
So the struggle is the medicine.
The struggle is the medicine, and the humor is the delivery mechanism.
Right, because they are laughing at the disasters. They're not throwing their brushes across the room in a huff.
They have detached their ego from the outcome. They are playing. We forget how to play as adults. We think everything has to be productive or beautiful or perfect. They are just exploring. And that playfulness reduces stress, which we know protects the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, from the corrosive effects of cortisol.
I love that. The willingness to be bad at something is a superpower. I am going to paint a truly terrible bird, and I am going to love every second of it.
It absolutely is. It's the secret to lifelong learning and brain health.
So the day is winding down. They've had this incredibly full day of activity, laughter, healthy food, naps, and gloriously bad art. And then we get the scene that ties it all together, the synthesis. A shy teenager approaches the group.
This is the external validation of everything we've been discussing. The results are so obvious that a stranger feels compelled to comment.
The teen has been watching them. Maybe he saw the race, maybe he saw the nap, who knows? And he just comes up and says, "You three always look so happy. What's your secret?"
And note the question. He didn't ask, "How are you so healthy?" or "How do you walk so far?" He asked about happiness. He sensed the joy radiating from them. He saw the energy. He saw the result he wanted for himself.
And the seniors, in true professor mode, synthesized their entire lifestyle into a 6-point checklist. I want to go through these one by one because this is essentially the summary of the deep dive methodology we've applied to them today.
Let's do it. It's a perfect recipe for vitality.
Point number 1, move every day.
We saw this with the walk. It doesn't have to be high intensity. It just has to be consistent. Keep the machine moving to keep it from rusting.
Point 2, eat clean.
The lunch at the cafe. Fuel the body with what it needs, omega-3s, nutrients, and avoid the inflammatory junk like fried foods and excess salt.
Point 3, sleep well.
The nap on the bench. Respect the body's need for recharge. Don't view rest as a weakness. View it as a non-negotiable strategy for performance.
Point 4, laugh often.
The tea incident. The bad art. Use humor as a buffer against stress and as a bonding mechanism with your tribe. It's social and neurological medicine.
Point 5, get checkups.
This is a new one on the list, but it fits their profile perfectly. Mrs. Baker's herbal tea for digestion shows they treat small issues before they become big ones. It's all about preventative maintenance.
And finally, point 6, exercise the brain.
The confused octopus. Continually challenge the mind with novel, creative, difficult tasks. Don't just do what's easy. Seek out productive struggle.
So the team gets this list. It's a holistic system. biopsychosocial. And his response is so telling. He says, "This is better than anything I learned online."
That is such a powerful statement on the value of lived wisdom versus disembodied information.
We live in the information age. That kid has a supercomputer in his pocket with access to all of human knowledge.
Right. He can Google how to be healthy and get 10 million results in 0.4 seconds. But what does he get? He gets noise. He gets conflicting advice. Eat kale, don't eat kale. Run, don't run. Sleep 8 hours. Now, if sleep 6 hours is fine.
It's analysis paralysis. It's abstract. It's overwhelming.
But here he sees 3 living, breathing examples of success. He sees the results standing right in front of him.
Yeah.
That authenticity carries more weight than any digital content ever could. He trusted the source because the source was smiling and thriving.
It connects back to that idea of mentorship. The seniors have the map because they've already walked the territory.
And they're willing to share it. That generosity is likely another component of their happiness that we haven't even touched on. They connected with him.
So we reached the end of the day, the outro. The trio is walking along the beach. The sun is probably setting. It's very cinematic.
It really is. A perfect ending to the day we've analyzed.
And they make a promise to each other. They say, tomorrow, new adventures, new healthy habits, and then they drop the final punchline. And hopefully no yoga disasters.
Which implies...
They're planning to try yoga, a new, challenging activity.
Exactly. They aren't done. They aren't settling into a comfortable routine of just walking and painting. They are actively looking for the next challenge, the next confused octopus moment.
And they are already anticipating the disaster. They're not expecting to be good at it.
That is the absolute key. They know they might fall over.
Yeah.
They know they aren't flexible. They know they might look silly in downward dog.
But they're going to do it anyway.
And that brings us to the core philosophy of this entire source. It sums it up perfectly. Aging isn't about slowing down. It is about living joyfully, healthfully, and meaningfully.
Meaningfully, that's the word that jumps out at me.
Because if we step back and look at this entire deep dive, what is the one big thread connecting the tea, the walk, the nap, and the art? For me, it's the lack of fear.
I completely agree. It's the absence of the fear of embarrassment.
Think about it. The ego is the enemy of aging well. The ego says, don't try to paint, you'll look bad. Don't try to jog, you're too slow. Don't nap in public, people will judge you. Don't try yoga, you'll fall.
The ego wants to protect you from looking silly, so it keeps you in this tiny, ever-shrinking box of competence.
Exactly. But these 3 have smashed the box. They didn't fear looking silly with the tea stain on the shoes. They didn't fear looking weak when they napped on the bench. They didn't fear looking untalented when they painted.
And because they aren't afraid of looking silly, they get to be happy. They get to participate in life fully.
That is the ultimate secret. Vulnerability is the gateway to vitality. If you can let go of the ego, you can hold on to your youth, your neuroplasticity, your joy.
That is such a powerful final thought. The enemy isn't wrinkles or a slower walking speed, it's the fear of embarrassment.
It really is. It's the self-imposed limitation.
So, to our listener, here is our challenge to you today. You don't have to wait until you're 80 to start practicing this. Find your healthy accident. When something small goes wrong today, can you laugh at it within 10 seconds? Can you choose reappraisal over reaction?
And can you prioritize your rest without shame? Can you find a bench or a quiet corner at work and just charge your batteries for 10 minutes?
And maybe, just maybe, go paint a really, really bad picture of a bird.
If it scares the actual birds away, you know you're doing it right. You know you're building that brain.
Exactly. Be a synchronized turtle. Be a confused octopus. Just be happy. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the biology and joy. We will see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.